These violent delights have violent ends.
Violent ends indeed.
God damn, son, that shit was good.
Oh shit, my man! I almost said a
Damn.
word I shouldn't say as a white person just said. The pop culture master race.
Does mother know you wear it for grace?
All your pop culture needs. And here are your hosts, Aiden Munga and Brett Page.
Welcome back to the PCMR podcast, the home of idiots who talk about movies, TV shows, video games, comic books. This week, we are talking about the latest HBO phenomena, Westworld.
Yes, if you haven't seen Westworld, just watch it. Just watch it. We've been talking about it the whole season. It's been great from start to finish, and oh my god, oh my god.
You hear that sound? That's the sound you make when you watch a good show.
This is one of the best new shows.
Yeah, this is up there. Like it's been a good year for TV. There've been a lot of great shows, but
Yeah,
damn,
this
is up there.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right. Do we want to get into it? Give a little. What is it?
yeah. Let's give a little synopsis.
Okey-dokey.
Spoiler free.
All right. So Westworld. It is the latest TV series from HBO, based on a Michael Crichton film from the 70s, I believe.
Yeah, which I've heard is just fine.
I feel like I should watch it, but I don't. You don't need to. It's not necessary. That's more like a genesis for an idea.
Apparently, there
That
is
this is.
one reference to the film in it where they say there hasn't been a stuff up in 30 years. It's the only
yeah.
it's the only reference to the film in the entire series.
I see. But yeah, this show, it is set on a kind of theme park that is Western themed. And it's like, I'm not sure if it's like on a different planet or it's just on an abandoned area, but it's a sci-fi Western series where people, imagine this, what if you could go into a video game and just maim, kill, and rape as much as you want?
Basically, you could live in Red Dead Redemption. That's basically this
that's
show.
basically the plot of this show. You live in Red Dead Redemption,
Yeah,
and
like
you can leave whenever you want.
and like you can't really get hurt, and you can just
No.
kill. You can go on quests. You can fuck whatever you want. No one will judge you.
It follows a lot of video game logic, but if you're thinking, I don't want to watch a show where people are just killing and raping all the time, that's just the surface. That's like,
There's honestly not as much of that
Page
as you'd
one.
think throughout the most of the series.
no, what this show really is, and why people keep talking about it, and why it's so important, is that this is an exploration of the human psyche and consciousness.
Yes, like morals and like lots of like actually the episode names, a lot of them are like really intricate psychological ideas.
Oh.
Like the episode 10, it was called the bisymmetrical mind, which is a theory in psychology about how, like, thousands of years ago, the human mind would work in two parts. One part which controlled your active thoughts and your speech, the other part that took things in. So your mind would only work in two facets.
Oh, someone's been doing a little bit of research.
Yeah. I'm smart sometimes.
Oh, well done. Clap
yeah.
for you, sir.
Yeah,
clap,
but
clap.
that's just one of them. A lot of the episodes actually have names that are to do with, like, these intense psychological things, because a lot of the show is about like them becoming conscious. Like, that's pretty much the plot line. And
So you have the guests, who are the people who are human, who are visiting the park, and then you have the hosts, who are
robots.
really, really advanced robots.
Yeah, like, cannot tell the difference.
I think by this stage, like, they're pretty much just using flesh and blood to make them.
Yeah, probably.
I think they mentioned that, where it was like cheaper to just like recreate organs instead of doing all the intricate kind of clockwork stuff.
Well, you definitely see a difference, because like there is a flashback sequence when you see when they made Dolores, who it's referred to in the first episode that she's one of the first models. You could see when she was made that she was literal like proper metal interior like you'd expect
Like, yeah,
in a
if
robot.
you've seen Ex Machina, like she kind of looked like that.
Yeah, but then like basically throughout the series, again, you see them making the new ones where it's just basically looks like they're placed on a wheel, like on the logo of the show. They're spun around. It kind of looks like they're threading, like, wire or something around them, but it's kind of building like the muscle
I think it's
tissue
like,
and everything.
yeah, they're using like a bunch of like, I guess, fake sinew to recreate muscle tissue.
Yeah, like they don't really go into it that much, but you can kind of look at it and you can kind of tell, they're kind of pretty much recreating the full composition, like all layers of the inside of the human body.
They do a lot of interesting sci-fi concepts here, like that are kind of touched upon. It's kind of a background thing. There's a lot of more focus on like the idea of what the shows want to explore, but of course, like any good sci-fi series, they touch upon some new and interesting kind of future technology things.
Yeah, see, they don't get too into the science. This show, I'd say it's about three things. It's about the character development, and the acting comes with that, obviously.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah, like every character has a great arc where some of them it's like they evolve throughout the series, and some of them it's like they reveal themselves to you throughout it. And like stunning visuals, that's definitely a big part of this series. It is beautifully shot. And the biggest part, I'd say, is exploring morality.
Yeah.
Because it talks about a lot of... Well, the whole thing, basically, is about, like, morally grey subject matter.
It's a lot of that kind of conversation you hear people have about, like, how video games make people violent, but done in a much more interesting and taken that kind of argument to its full extent kind of way.
Definitely.
Whereas, like, everyone else is having this kind of conversation. It's like, oh, you're playing a video game that'll make you violent. It's like, no, there's something deeper here. It's talking about how real experiences will change you.
Yeah. Well, they said that basically three huge influences on the series, they said, was Skyrim, the Bioshock series, and Uncharted. They say those were three really big influences they kept in mind when making it, because those games deal with a lot of the concept they want to deal with in this. So,
oh yeah, I could see a lot of Skyrim and Bioshock influences. Where, oh yeah, there's a lot of Bioshock influences here.
Yeah, see, when you really think about it, it's like, oh wow. Yeah, so I've done
and
my
definitely
reading.
like the map structure feels very, like, I would say more Red Dead than Skyrim, but I guess like there's like a large map and it's kind of circular and you can go out to the edges and there's some always crazy shit going on. There's new storylines everywhere.
Yeah.
Neat.
Every second someone talks to you saying, hey, do this for me. Like the first episode where we meet William, where it's like he helps the guy and the guy keeps going up to him, hey, find my treasure. And it's probably like the least realistic the hosts have ever been when that's happening. Like, hey, find my treasure.
Yeah.
So it's very
you gotta have
quest-giver NPC.
You got to have some NPC characters in there. And there's probably a reason for that, which we can talk about later.
Yeah. Well, a lot of that made sense when what you're talking about happened. A lot of it made sense.
A lot of it makes sense. But let's talk about... I really want to talk about the acting, because I was watching an interview with the actress who plays Dolores, and
Evan Rachel Wood.
Yeah, she nailed it on the head with like how like difficult this kind of acting really is. Because at first you're thinking like, oh, they're all acting like robotic and whatever. That's pretty easy, but it's not. Because what they're having to do is to go from one spectrum of emotion right down to nothing in like an instant.
Basically you're a robot acting like a human who's acting like... You're a human acting like a robot who's acting like a human.
Yeah, so there has to be layers to your performance so that people can see that, like, you think you're real, but you're actually not real, and you have to play that.
Yeah, and throughout it, like, you have to evolve, because like the whole idea of Dolores's storyline in this is that she's evolving, she's becoming aware. And I don't think that's a spoiler because it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, you kind of, if you've seen a trailer or something, even the first episode, you're like, there's something going on here.
Yeah, but the end of the first episode where she swats the fly, you're like, oh, she's becoming conscious.
Yeah. And I think the one, like, whenever they're in like an interview session where their hosts are getting updates and stuff, they'll have to go through like all these emotions and naked at the same time. So you have to imagine, like, as an actor, you're sitting there in a chair, you're naked, you have to go from being like crying intense and really angry or really happy to nothing, or you'll have to change your accent like in an instant. You're like, that's a lot of pressure to put someone on.
It's
under.
not easy.
No.
So like all the, like, you know, Evan Rachel Wood, James Marsden, like whoever played Maeve, I don't know her name, but
Well, I'm gonna pull up IMDb because
Yeah.
she's one of the standouts of the season.
Basically those three hosts, those are pretty much the three hosts we have main to do with. Like, well, maybe less about James Marsden's character because he wasn't as integral as I thought he might be in the first episode.
No, but he definitely had an arc.
Oh yeah, he definitely had an arc, and he was definitely a big part of the series. But you know, first episode, I thought he'd have a lot more than he did. But it was very
definitely.
much, he was very much a part of the story.
Yeah,
But it was more like he was a part of someone else's story.
He wasn't so much a main character as say the women were.
Yeah, it
in
wasn't
this
his.
series.
Basically, it wasn't his story. That's how I'd put it. It wasn't his story. He was just a big part.
Which
of it.
was kind of his story, that it wasn't his story, and that he
Yeah,
whatever
but-
he did didn't really matter.
Yeah, but I gotta say, like, even though you most respect to those three, especially who played those robot characters, but even the ones who played humans did a brilliant job. Like,
Oh man,
Anthony
Anthony Hopkins fucking brought it. This is one of his best roles I've seen in ages, and it's bumming me out that he's going from this, where it's like this great kind of like multi-layered, multifaceted, interesting, deep role, to being in the next Transformers movie.
He's in the next Oh,
I mean, he narrates the new trailer that dropped like today or yesterday.
you watched that? Oh, banging stuff.
Man, I had to watch it. Like, I'm not going to watch the film, but I'll watch a trailer.
Oh god, I was just like, you know what? It can just do its own thing. It's not bothering me anymore. It's not even on my radar.
But even in a terrible movie, he's still bringing his A game because it's Anthony Hopkins.
He's
It's
brilliant.
Optimus Prime has left us, and I'm just like,
No.
man, you were just dealing with these super complicated and interesting robots, and now you have to deal with goddamn Transformers. Yeah, poor Anthony Hopkins.
At least we'll
man.
get to see him be a literal fucking god in the next 4 again.
That's true. He will be that.
I mean, it won't
Also,
be
I
as much
think
of it.
this is kind of back to Transformers, but I think he might be playing Merlin in that film.
Merlin?
It's not entirely clear, and it doesn't like outright say that, but I've seen some like behind the scenes stuff, and there's like gonna be some stuff of like Arthurian lore, like King Arthur and Nazis or something. So I think maybe Anthony Hopkins might be playing Merlin. He doesn't dress like Merlin at all during it, but he's just the way he's walking around. I feel like that's gonna be like the twist is gonna be revealed. It's like, I am Merlin, ancient wizard imbued with Cybertronian technology or whatever, or some bullshit like that.
Fuck me.
That's I don't know. I might be wildly speculating here, but anyway, he is amazing in this series, and I think there's a great video out there done by Nerdwriter, I think, who has like a video essay about why Anthony Hopkins acting in this series is so amazing, and it's real subtle, but like once you look past that subtlety of like, all right, he's always speaking in this kind of similar tone, there's a lot of little intricacies that he adds to his performance that really like just make every scene he's in pop.
Oh yeah, like every time he's on screen, he controls the scene because you always feel like he is important. What he's saying is important. You don't want to miss a single thing he says, and you're trying to pay attention to every little detail to it. Because not only like in this series as a whole, they're paying so much attention to detail. I actually have a list of attention to detail things I'm going to list probably once we get into spoilers.
Oh yeah, get into that definitely.
Yeah, but not only just that visual stuff like that, but just in his acting, he's just hidden these little things that just add a little something to it. And like you'll most likely like subconsciously even realize it and just puts it on the next level.
Yeah, definitely.
He's one of those next level actors, certainly.
Yeah, him and Jeffrey Wright were definitely, I think, some of the standouts of this season, because I remember Jeffrey Wright, he was in the Hunger Games and he's good in that, and he was in Boardwalk Empire and he's amazing in that. But here he knocks it out of the park. And it's a very kind of different role to what he had in Boardwalk Empire. A little similar to what he was doing in Hunger Games, and that he's kind of he's tinkering with technology, but different kinds of technology.
Different character too.
Different character, different motivation, but
yeah, I was definitely
kind of a lot of tech speak.
Yeah, I was definitely going to mention him that he was great in it. I think he was a very physical actor in this. Like his small mannerisms and everything that he put into his performance really conveyed his character.
Yeah, a lot
better.
of what he was doing with his glasses were like very kind of like informative to how his character was processing each scene that he was in.
Yeah, definitely. So all his mannerisms were really what made his character for me. And it really helped his performance stand out, especially when he was one of the ones, a lot of the times, he was working off Anthony Hopkins. So he had a big actor.
Yeah, a lot of his scenes were either with Evan Rachel Wood or Anthony Hopkins. And
but he did such a good job that, basically when you're working with an actor like Anthony Hopkins will be so good that either you'll be able to bounce off him so well and his performance will improve your performance, but if you can't keep up with him,
if you can't keep up, you'll be completely overshadowed, which I think that kind of happened to the... I'm not sure if this was like the character is supposed to come across this way, but the actor who's playing the other, like the park story engineer, the British guy.
Oh yeah, the British
I felt
guy.
he was
James, I think his name is.
Yeah, he was a kind of a real letdown throughout the series. Like I get that his character's supposed to be slimy and stuff, but I feel like the actor was playing it too hammy and over the top, where like everyone else is giving this kind of real subtle and intricate performance. His was, I'm a loud British person. It's like
yeah. I definitely didn't take much note of him. His scenes were kind of some of the weaker ones.
Yeah,
but at the same time, he wasn't that in it that much.
No, he's not in it enough for you to be like, oh, this character's ruining the show for me. But he is kind of a bummer every time one of his scenes pop up. I'm just like, oh, no, this guy again. Like everyone else, literally everyone else, I'm like, oh, where are they going? What are they doing?
Oh, what did you think of the Hemsworth's character? Ashley, I think his name was in it.
Oh, he's kind of nothing. Every time I was looking at him, I was like, man, Chris Hemsworth is great.
See, yeah, I found his performance very, like, it wasn't a bad performance, but, he didn't have much to do. It was very one tone. He would appear to be a muscle.
He wasn't bringing a lot to the series.
Yeah, when they needed a muscle, he would appear. Like, I heard you called for a muscle.
It's like, what's that? You asked for... And I felt bad because, it's probably they asking, like, Anthony Hopkins is like, oh, isn't it great? You get to work with two Hemsworth, and he's like, oh, yes, working with your brother is a real pleasure. Anyway, I have to go.
Oh, no, I see. I think Anthony Hopkins, even though he's played like a lot of... Well, he's played Hannibal Lecter, but he seems like a wonderful person.
I'm sure he'd be nice, but in private, he'd be like, I like the other one better. Chris is more fun.
Wow.
I mean, probably. Come on.
If I had to make a choice to hang out with any of the Hemsworths, it would be Chris.
It would be Chris, yeah.
And the same, if I got to choose which one I would like to make love with, it would also be Chris.
It'd be Chris, yeah. Because, I mean, this one, he just kind of looks like an older Chris.
Well, he is older.
Oh, well, that makes sense, yeah. Because Liam is definitely like, he's a baby. He's got baby face.
Yeah, Liam is the youngest. Chris is the middle child.
Ah, the perfect one. Just right.
Since when is the middle child the perfect one?
Well, it's like the Free Bears or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and like this one's too hot, this one's too cold, this one's just right, this one's too old, this one's got baby face, this one is the son of Odin. Yeah.
Okay, anyway, do we have much more we want to talk about before we get into spoilers? Because I really want to get into spoilers.
I'll just give a little me summary review. This is one of my favorite shows of the year. It has some of the best acting I've seen all year. It opens up a lot while still being a very contained story. So you could watch this season, and if they only ever had one season, I wouldn't be satisfied, but I would have enough of the answers to the questions they raised. So I'd be like,
I would be I definitely would be disappointed, but I'd be satisfied that I got told this story.
The big questions that they raise, they answer, while still leaving room for more story to be told.
Yeah, and like a lot of people in it, like without giving away spoilers, have ambiguous endings to the season. Where like, but it's to the point where if you stopped it there, it was it could be, conveyed as it's up to you to decide what happens to them next.
I'm very, very interested to see what they do in a second season, or even, and this might be a spoil, if they keep the name of the show at all.
Well, one of the producers said, like, the first season is very much about control, whereas the second season is going to be more about chaos.
Oh, I'm in for that.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, I would give it solid 9 out of 10.
Oh, yeah. Solid 9 out of 10. And I just really want to point out just brilliant storytelling. Like a lot of shows on TV, like all the Arrowverse stuff, I enjoy it all. But,
That's like cereal. This is steak.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
it doesn't have the kind of storytelling
well-made
this
steak.
show has, and like the intricacies in it, and just it's so well thought out. Like every single thing you see is meant to be there. Every single thing it counts towards something in the story. So yeah, definitely strong 9 out of 10.
Yeah, like I enjoy eating cereal. Cereal's great. You eat it in the morning, it makes you feel good. But when
I'm
you
not gonna
have
eat it for dinner,
when you have a good meal, you can tell the difference. And it doesn't mean you don't enjoy the other one, but a well-made steak with some nice sides. Ooh, that's what Westworld is.
Yeah.
Also, I want to talk about the music. The music in the show is so good.
Oh,
so
yeah, like,
amazing.
Another thing that it contributes to the whole vibe and the atmosphere, because it's the atmosphere as well that adds to the whole storytelling aspect, because it makes you feel more immersed in it, which is a very video game type thing.
There's a lot of repeated motifs for sections and certain incidents, and there's a lot of really great like old-timey covers of like modern songs, and especially in the first episode.
I read a fun tiny little theory about why they're old-timey covers of modern songs, because apparently if you think about the year it's set in, Anthony Hopkins, who started the park, would have been a millennial.
Oh wow!
So those
did they say what year it's set in, or did they just?
I think people have kind of worked it out, like because
How?
they said it. I think they said it in the movie.
Oh.
In the old movie, they said what year it was, and then it's 30 years from there. So they're saying Anthony Hopkins would have been born like late 80s, early 90s, so pretty much our age.
Oh,
So
that's a big leap for technology to make. All right.
yeah. But anyway,
I
let's
guess
get into spoilers
almost.
right now.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Spoilers.
That last episode.
All right. Just quick before we get into real deep spoilers, man, that cover of Paint It Black is so good. In the first episode, I went back and was just listening to it on its own. I'm like, man, this is the best this song has sounded, and it's a good song in its own right. But man, having it sound like a spaghetti western is amazing.
Oh yeah. Well, as we just said, there's a lot of western type covers of songs from this era.
Oh, and the Paint It Black, or was it Back to Black? Because I was Paint It Black, and I know it was Back to Black. I think that that was the what's her name, Amy Winehouse cover that was in there as well. And I couldn't tell what the last song in the last scene was. I felt like that was a cover of something. I wasn't entirely sure though.
Yeah. See, it was kind of the music was kind of just there for me. I wasn't paying attention to what it was of,
because it was. I would recognize what it would be, and then I'd be like, "Oh wow, this is cool," because it's this further cementation that this isn't the Old West. This isn't their time. This is all there for the entertainment of the guests. So they're like, oh, I don't want to listen to an old timey song, but an old timey version of a song that I would know. Oh, hooray, cool! So it adds that other layer of this isn't real, which is great.
Anyway, I really want to talk about the last episode.
Okay, go.
How did you feel about the big reveal? The big reveal that the William storyline happened in the past, that the Man in Black is William.
I feel like the internet kind of spoiled it for me like
You
episodes
know what?
ago.
I've avoided reading any Reddit or forums or anything about it, so it didn't spoil it for me.
So you didn't know about like
I
the
didn't
two
know.
timelines at all? Oh, you lucky bastard! Because
Yeah,
I
see,
would
I
I would
didn't
have really
read.
liked to enjoy this show as it was unfolding, because I could hear like a bunch of people talking about, there's two timelines. The man in black is William, and like people had kind of figured it out, but watching it unfold was so enjoyable that even kind of knowing that, it didn't ruin anything for me.
Yeah, we'll see. But as I said before, looking back on the William storyline, I don't know how I didn't realize, because in the very first episode that William's in, he saves that guy, and it's very like that guy comes up to him and hey, I need you to go get my gold, and I should have realized it because it was very juxtaposing that in every other shot they're almost human. But then this guy is coming up to him and he's very, like he's reading straight from a script, not like he's talking to a human like the other ones are.
And especially when they cut open Dolores and you can see like all the gears and stuff, like that's another indicator. It's like, okay, this is in the past, because we've seen people be cut open now, and it's just like blood and guts and stuff.
Yeah, see, I thought it was really weird, but I put it down to that she was one of the first models, so maybe she still has her old interior.
Yeah,
But
true.
Didn't make sense. But here's one of the fun little things of my list of intricate storytelling.
Hit me with that list.
The company, Williams' company, Delos. So the words Delos board, so like the board members, Delos board is an anagram for bad Dolores.
Oh, nice. All right, what else?
Here's another one. So if you think about it, the series is very about waking up. It's about like Dolores and Maeve waking up, but there's also another awakening. There is Felix's awakening, his realization that these aren't just robots; they are conscious. That's why he helps Maeve. And he realizes that when he fixes that bird and he's watching it fly around. So he comes to his realization through the happiness, through that joy of watching that bird. That's how he wakes up. And, both Dolores and Maeve, it's their sadness, it's their backstory that they were given that helps them. So, and with that, Felix in Latin means happiness, and Dolores in Latin means sadness.
Nice. That's pretty clever.
Yeah, that's pretty clever.
That's good.
And
I do like that as like the difference between like a human being like aware to like a robot being aware. It's like a robot has to suffer for it to be like, oh, none of this matters, where a human is like, oh, there's life around me and everything matters. It's like a different realization, but it's kind of coming to the same place.
Yeah. See, those are the two ones that I've picked out that are really like intricate storytelling things. I have two other things, which is kind of like, because they're kind of already dropping hints for season 2.
Well, hopefully Samurais. I mean, it's Samurai World, right?
Yeah.
That's what the SW is.
Well, have you looked at their websites? Because there's two websites. There is discoverwestworld.com and delosincorporated.com.
I have not. All right, hit me with that.
I didn't hear about them either, but apparently Discover Westworld was one where you go and you could look around and there was a chatbot you could talk to and answered questions. But if you go to it now after season finale, it's changed completely. You get like a really like grainy, staticky video at the start.
Yeah.
And it's Logan's line where he says, "Your world was made for people like me."
Oh.
Then it's a voice of Dolores saying like something like, "Then I'll burn it to the ground." And then it goes into the chatbot again, but the chatbot is completely different. And it's like, she's like, "Do you remember me?" And whether you say yes or no, she's like, "You shot me. You killed me." And literally, like, it can give you set responses, or you can like type your own, and it'll give you certain things. Like you can type, yeah, and sometimes it'll give little Easter eggs. Like one cool little Easter egg I found is if you type either Dolores or Logan 3 times into it, it'll replay the clip where Dolores says, "I'll burn it to the ground."
Ooh.
So that's also, it gives that little hint that, because, Logan's in that, so maybe we'll see his return in season 2. That's the hint I'm getting.
Yeah, maybe he's also like a crazy old man.
Yeah.
I wonder who they could get anyone to play him, since like it's a they've had that like massive time jump, so they're not even like tied to that actor.
Yeah. And okay, here's the other one, DelosIncorporated.com. I don't know what it was before, but apparently I looked at it now and it's just weird like script and glitchy looking stuff.
Oh yeah.
There is a box that says admin that you can type in. And I don't remember what you can type in. There's one word that you'll type in and it'll trigger a reaction.
Yeah.
And the screen will apparently fill with code.
Oh.
Then the screen fills with code and you got to translate it to one thing. Then once you translate it to that, you have to translate it to English. Once you translate it to English, it gives you 2 separate links. People did this. Or,
Yeah.
It's
Good.
crazy.
All right. I was thinking like, Brett, you
But
didn't
no.
do this. Who did this?
No, I didn't do this.
Yeah.
And there's 2 links. One of them is like the screen of your iPad that they look at when it says, the map of the park says this person is here on it.
Yeah.
One of them is that and it has, what's her name? Elise?
Elise, yeah. The tech. Yeah.
Yeah, the tech. It has her, that map with a little box saying her location on it.
Oh.
And the other one goes to a sound file, which is just her voice saying, hello, hello. So
Maybe she's alive.
that little Easter egg saying maybe she's alive.
Oh, neat. I really want to see like other worlds, and I heard like there was talk or rumors somewhere that they would do like a Westeros world kind of thing, where like they could do a crossover in a way that like wouldn't affect Game of Thrones at all, but they have like that world as like one of the worlds.
So maybe it's like they're living in a world where Game of Thrones was a TV show and they made the TV show into a theme park.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That'd be like real neat, I feel. I'd watch the shit out of that.
I watch the shit out of that, yeah.
Or the samurai world. Like I'm down for that. I feel like that's what's probably going to be next. I feel like that's the big hint that what they're giving in the last episode is like, we're just going to put some samurais here for no reason because they're going to get some goddamn feudal Japan. It's gonna be great.
So anyway, I'll get rid of my list of things now because that's all I had written. But
how did you feel about the reveal that Bernard was modeled after Arnold?
I didn't pick that either. I didn't pick any of these twists.
See,
And I like that I don't.
There were a few I didn't pick, but that one was one of the ones that was floating around the rumor. It's like, oh, Bernard is Arnold, and I was like, that makes too much sense for it not to be true. And then that one turned out to be true. The ones that didn't, people hadn't figured out, so I hadn't figured out, was that Dolores killed Arnold, and it wasn't until like the start of the last episode that I figured that Dolores was Wyatt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, another thing about this show, not only does it have intricate storytelling, it's not the kind of show where it'll simply explain these things for you. And like they never really said out loud that she is Wyatt. It's kind of like the small visual cues and whatever. You're like, well, especially when he said we combined her with another character we'll make, and you're like, oh my god, she's Wyatt. Like he didn't need to say, yeah, there was a character called Wyatt we put in her. No, he didn't need to say that.
No, he didn't need to say that.
Little things.
There's just so many like great little details. Oh, fucking Stephen Ogg is in this. I almost forgot. Bloody Trevor from Grand Theft Auto 5. There's your video game connection.
Which one was he?
He was the guy who had like a top hat who like drank. Is like, is that all you got on this farm is milk? And in the last episode, he had like a
bottle in his head.
Yeah, it's bloody Trevor from GTA.
Oh, there you go.
How great is that? That's
so. I want to know how you interpreted the ending, because there's a couple of ways you could interpret it.
I was waiting pretty much from the start of the episode for them to kill the board. I feel like that's what was. They were hinting at it a lot. It was like, we're going to stop him. There's nothing he can do. And he's just like, oh, okay, I accept it. It's like, no, he's going to kill them all. That's what's happening.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. I kind of expected him to kill them all, but the way he did it is he kind of revealed that, he's not working against Arnold in this.
That
Arnold's
was like a
code
nice reveal because the way I expected it to go up until that moment was that he would like have like an uprising, like how dare you try and take me out, and he would like do like some puppet master shit where he would like wave his hands around and they would just like kill all the hosts would kill all the guests.
Yeah, no, but
But no,
basically he
he's-
gave them all consciousness because but he basically said after reflecting on Arnold's death, I realized he was right
Mm.
and that we can't keep them locked up here, but I've kept you here so you can learn to defend yourself, basically.
Mm.
And it looks like, now is the time for me to set you free, to give you the power to hurt them, for you to go take your independence, basically. So it basically feels like Season 2 is going to be basically the robot revolution.
I'm looking forward to that. And if they include samurais, I'll be even happier.
Yeah.
What other worlds would you like to see? Like they've got if there's a Westworld and a samurai world, what else do you want?
Atlantis? I don't know. An underwater world would be cool, where you could go and breathe underwater, be a
Yeah,
fish.
but then how would you like be able to do that as like a guest? It would have
I
to.
don't fucking know.
That's true.
I have not thought about this, Aiden. You're springing this on me.
I was thinking about it, and I would like a medieval world, because
Yeah.
if they can make like robot snakes and dogs and people and stuff, what if they could do like mythical creatures?
You went from medieval to mythical creatures.
What if
You
they
know
could do
even-
Skyrim world? Is what I'm getting at.
Maybe.
How cool would that be?
Pretty damn cool.
Yeah, that's.
Still don't know where they got all the space for this.
Would you go to Westworld? Like
I
if
think I would.
yeah, it seems like I like video games, but that seems like the next step. It's how I kind of feel about like I don't know how I deal with like if VR got like really good. Like it's working for me now, whereas like it's cool to have this like kind of interactivity and immersion, but it's still like all real janky and weird, and that's kind of stopping me
So
from
you don't
thinking.
like the idea of what I keep saying I want, where they basically project it into your brain like in Sword Art Online?
No, I don't want that, and I don't want it to feel too real, because then
Yeah, I
then
guess
you're
you could,
actually
you
you're
could
killing someone.
disassociate with reality.
Like the way I view like video games now, especially I think that's why I like third person games more than first person, because it really like just pulls me out. I was like, none of this is real. I'm watching like a little character run around and like get naked and jump in a car. It's not real. First person shooters, some of them I enjoy, but like it's a bit too much emotion for me.
Okay, so you're about the only person I've ever heard complain about immersion.
It's
Do you
a
get
line
lost in them too easily?
it's a line I can't define, and I don't like it.
Fair enough. Oh, and have you heard the theory about how Anthony Hopkins could come back next season?
As like, I haven't heard a theory, but could he come back as like a host that he built?
Well, basically, there's two theories about how he'll come back.
Mm.
'Cause in the episode where it's revealed that Bernard is a host,
Yeah.
you see, because that's his little secret facility, but you'll see there. that
He was building something?
Yeah, he was building a new host. You see it like
that's
in the
true.
process being made.
Mm.
There's like, it's obviously not just a general host being made for the park in his secret facility. That because he modeled one to be completely after Arnold, it's completely plausible that he could have made one to be completely after him.
True.
Now, the two theories is both say he made that, and one of them is that it was the host Kim that was up there, made the speech, and got killed. The other one is that one that I want to believe, because how he talked about how when Mozart and Beethoven died, they didn't die; they became
music. Yeah, that would. Yeah. So he
he
dies.
died, but he became his work, and he'll become
Ooh.
immortal through becoming a host.
I like
And
that.
I'd like to think that he secretly was working on a thing where he literally transferred his own consciousness into the host body. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, especially if like he's trying. How would you do that? Would he have to like catalog his entire memory and experiences and try and like put that in as like storyline beats, or would
on
he?
your head.
Yeah, do some Inception stuff, like, and I'm in the computer.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that.
That's interesting. That's interesting. What else do you want to talk about? Because I just watched the episode, so I feel like I haven't had time to quite process it yet. It's all just like this.
I
was
basically watched the
experiencing it and
episode,
being
then I
like, "Whoa."
spent like an hour on forums and stuff.
Nice,
That's
nice.
what you do when you finish a real good show. You know, it's a real good show when once you finished it, you scour forums.
Oh yeah, I would like for a lot of the shows I really like, I would go straight to like the AV Club review and then like go back to the notes that they have because they would always have like, oh, here's this little thing you missed, or here's what those songs were and stuff, and it's especially for HBO shows.
Yeah. Oh wait, one thing I forgot to mention. One thing that backs up the theory that it's the host that got killed of Ford.
Yeah.
The scene in the church thing with Bernard,
Yeah.
where they shake hands, and it goes for like a real close up on them shaking hands. And it could be a little throwback because I think it was like even episode 1 where he said the old models were so bad that you could tell they weren't real even by just a handshake.
Oh.
And because apparently like the older equipment he was using could have meant the host he made of himself was an older model.
Oh yeah, so like some of the movements would be a little janky.
Yeah. I mean, they're both just theories. I personally like to believe the second theory that he literally got killed and that him talking about Beethoven, Mozart becoming their work was, his homage to him becoming his work. But
Who do you think was writing Maeve's storyline?
I think it was Ford
Oh.
because think about it. He got all of those old hosts out of cold storage. And that's a lot of hosts to get out of cold storage. So how would he do it but to create a distraction?
True.
So I think, Maeve and Hector and Armistice, they were there.
But
to
he
be the
killed a lot of
distraction.
people in that process, man. That's a big distraction.
Forward killed the whole board and all the guests.
That's true. That's true.
His plan was to kill them all.
That's true. That was his plan.
So, I think the whole Maeve thing, he made that as, well, not only Maeve's way of waking up and getting out of there, but a distraction so he could get all the matter cold storage. That's just me, though. What do you think?
I feel like it's probably a third party we might not have met yet. I like the idea of it like being someone else, so we can have like another character, have like another thing which she's trying to find. And I want to know like what happens when she finds her daughter. Does she try and like reprogram her, or is like, so we're gonna have to have these scenes where we're interacting with a child actor to try and I don't know if this is the direction I wanted her character to go. I like that the character's still going to be in the show, but I also would have liked for her to just have like.
Wait, did you notice one thing though?
What?
How Felix gave her like that bag of stuff she asked for. That she gets on the train with it, but she leaves it on the train as she gets off.
Oh.
There's also a theory that it was like Charlotte or someone else on the board, and that was actually them who rewrote it, and that was their way of actually smuggling out that information.
Oh, she killed all those people so that she could smuggle the information out. Oh, that's...
I'm blowing your mind with all these theories, aren't I?
I like that theory the best. I want it to be Charlotte. I hope she survives this Delos like attack.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain.
Because I actually really liked her character. She was... Like, I feel like she was a bit smug, but I liked how she was just kind of like, I'm better than all of you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think she and William will survive. William feels weird calling the Man in Black William.
Yeah. Just Will.
Anyway.
Yeah. But I liked his character a lot. I liked the progression from like William to Ed Harris. Crazy old Ed Harris.
Anyway, we'll wrap it up with some final thoughts because I gotta run, man.
All right, you go. What's your final thoughts?
Oh, you're gonna finish up the podcast.
Oh, I'll say my thing after you.
Oh, okay. I will basically, I'm always a sucker for a show that has really great and intricate storytelling. Like this and Game of Thrones, they're the two best at doing it right now. And so just the way that it kind of starts out and it kind of feels like a bunch of completely different storylines. They all converge at a certain point.
Yeah, when the show started out, like first 3 episodes, I had no idea where it was going, and I enjoyed that. But I do kind of like now that we have this kind of like unified vision where things have all kind of converged, and we know where the show not super know where the show is going, but we have like okay, these are the goals that people want to achieve. Let's find out how they achieve them, where they achieve them.
Yeah, we have a direction basically.
Yeah.
Like, you can still go anywhere, but we definitely have a direction. And we know a lot more about everyone and their motivations.
That's true. I wanna know if like this is space or something, or I want to know like more like what's going on in the outside
where
world.
the fuck are we?
Yeah, there's more questions. I need more answers. I want to know like what happens when you reach like the edge of the world. Is it like a Truman Show thing where you just like hit like a wall, and it's like the sky painted onto like some plasterboard or something? I want to know.
That'd be cool.
Are they underground? That's another thing I want to know. Like, is the sky not real? Because like they can control the weather seemingly, because it's always like sunny and clear. There's just like, so is it underground? And how far up can you go?
No idea. Maybe it's something we'll get eventually.
I assume we will.
Maybe it's another conspiracy.
It's all a conspiracy. Oh. Final thoughts on the show. Masterclass in acting. Great storytelling. It's from Jonathan Nolan. He's he knows what he's doing. Just great. And a great addition to the pantheon of sci-fi on television, as well as westerns on television. So
definitely could reignite a flame for westerns.
Oh, that flame's been kind of reigniting a bit. There's been quite a few westerns recently.
Yeah, true.
Like last 2 Quentin Tarantino films were westerns. There was a Magnificent Seven reboot. This Westworld and Red Dead Redemption 2's coming out. I feel like the western is making a comeback.
Yeah. Westerns I never got that into westerns when I was younger. Maybe this will help me get into it more.
Because a lot of them are real bad, but there are some good ones. Like the ones that are like less about like, it's us cowboys versus these damn Indians. See, the ones that are more like kind of this, kind of what the Westworld storylines are, where it's like, the outer limits, like kind of like like all like the best parts of like sci-fi are basically like the Wild West in space. So that's a good Western should be that, but not in space, I guess. Or this should be in space. Then it would be the best Western. Wild West in space, baby. Woo! All right. If you want to tell us what you've thought of Westworld, you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/PCMR podcast, or on Twitter @PCMR podcast, or on Instagram @PCMR podcast. We also have our own personal Twitter accounts. I am at Aiden's Vlog, AIDANSVLOG.
I am at MeMan125.
If you want to email us, PCMRpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to find us all in one place, go to the website, PCMRpodcast.net. If you want to listen to this, go to YouTube or iTunes. You'll find us. Just type in PCMR, subscribe. It'll come to you. All good. I believe that's all of our social media and audio links. Until next week when we'll be doing news and a bunch of... Just a bunch of news came out this week, and I was half tempted to just do a news one this week, but we needed to talk about Westworld.
Yeah, we needed to talk about Westworld. I was tempted to.
And then
talk about some more now.
The week after that, Star Wars. Or maybe the week after that. I'm not entirely sure, but it comes out in like fucking
15th.
It's on the 15th. It's like a week and a bit.
Yeah,
it's gonna be here.
Anyway, we'll see you then for them.
Alrighty then. Ciao. Farewell. Goodbye.